Hello and welcome to Familiar Faces. In the world of animation, sometimes the briefest appearances can leave the biggest impacts, and today's character embodies that perfectly. That's right, it's Freakazoid from Freakazoid. However, I will admit that this is the first curveball I've thrown you people, because she never actually appeared in the series. Well, barely never. Let's back up a bit, because you can't tell the story of Freakazoid without telling the story of Freakazoid. No, not that story. This one. During the 90s, Steven Spielberg produced a slew of animated series. Fresh off the success of Animaniacs' spin-off Pinky and the Brain, Stevie got a wild hair up his ass one day and said, "I want to make a superhero show." A not too familiar genre for the director, unless you count the Indiana Jones series. I'm not talking about the whip or anything. I'm talking about his little-known ability to turn any metal box into a bomb-proof mini-shelter. So enter Bruce Timm.
He's got two first names.
If you don't know, Bruce Timm was the lead character designer for the Batman series of the 90s, and went on to produce a number of DC-related shows, leading to what fans lovingly call the Timmiverse. While working with legend in his own right, writer Paul Dini, Bruce came up with the first incarnation of Freakazoid, which in all honesty was a male version of Livewire with Superman proportions. But by the time Bruce had designed a whole cast, Spielberg decided he wanted to change the focus of the series.
Bum bum bum.
Rather than the action nor Bruce Timm was known for, he wanted Freakazoid to draw on the comedy similar to his previous shows, like Animaniacs.
After about a month or two of working on the show with Steven, I just felt like I should probably just back away from it, because I didn't think I was going to be able to deliver the kind of show that Steven would be pleased with.
What a whiny boy.
Years later, when we went back to doing more Batman episodes, the Creeper was in the same kind of vein as our original Freakazoid concept. That's a little bit more like what our original intention of the Freakazoid was going to be, and that's exactly what he would have sounded like.
Honey, you're boring us again, sweetie.
Oh, sorry.
So the series was eventually handed off to Tom Ruegger and his team, who had previously made Tiny Toons and Animaniacs. They basically had to take Timm's designs, reconstruct the direction of the series, write the stories, find the voice actors, and start animation in less than 8 months. And speaking of voice actors, they got story editor Paul Rugg to do the voice of Freakazoid.
So we ran into Tom's office, and Tom's in the middle of writing this pilot, and we go, "Tom, we think we've figured out this whole thing about how he becomes Freakazoid. It's the clicker."
Huh? Oh, come on, people, Paul Rugg. No? How about this?
With high heel shoes and socks and pantyhose, a pretty lady!
That's right, it's the Not Jerry Lewis guy.
We are so dead.
For those who don't know the story of Freakazoid, a young geek named Dexter Douglas received a computer chip as his Christmas gift. But if a special code were ever typed into the computer and then deleted, a flaw in the chip would open up a rip in the fabric of space, pulling the user into the internet and endowing him with incredible powers. But with all that power came extreme unpredictability. But enough about Windows Vista. Let's get back to Freakazoid.
You're not so real.
But when you think about Freakazoid, you just don't mean Freakazoid. You think of an entire cast of the funniest characters in animation. To be honest, there were so many characters I considered featuring. Like Sergeant Mike Cosgrove, voiced by Ed Asner. He's a gruff but lovable cop and best friend to Freakazoid.
Hey, Freakazoid, wanna go out for a mint? You wanna go to the Honey Harvest Festival in Acton? You wanna go out for a snow cone?
You wanna get a couple Asian hookers?
Do I?
Let me do the siren!
Or Dr. Jaime, who despite being seen only a few times, left a real impression on me as Freakazoid's closest scientific hand.
It is my business to know monsters, my friend. They attack here almost every day.
Professor Heine, a monster is attacking!
Zoom in! It's a big, ugly one. Ready, aim, fire!
I thought you researched them.
No, they're monsters. What's to research? We zap 'em.
Or even Cave Guy, who probably has the best theme of any character on the show. It's primal, yet bohemian.
You're so kind.
Freakazoid also featured the late Ricardo Montalban as the villain Gutierrez.
round the moons of Snibia, I chuckle at thee. Beyond the Corpian clouds, I chuckle more at thee. Revenge is a dish best served with pinto beans and muffins. Kirk, old friend, Oh, sorry. Goodbye.
But in the end, I had to go with the most obscure character I could think of, and with a total screen time of 4 seconds, that would be Freakazoid. You see, the pilot episode of Freakazoid featured an Animaniacs parody. It was meant to introduce us to all the characters in the series, and they would all appear later down the line except for Freakazoid. But that's okay, we just see her for a second. Standing alone, atop a rock formation bearing her own name, whilst Yakko, Wakko, and Dot sing her praises. Now where in the world would we get an idea we'd be seeing her again?
Aye, that's what I told them, but no!
Basically, she's the product of Freakazoid's second creative team attempting to reverse engineer a superhero mythos in a matter of months.
And now you know the rest of the backstory. Good day!
Well, apparently she appeared just long enough for there to be some speculation about who she was. The consensus was she was a character named Steph, because she's the main female protagonist of the show, who actually learns that Dexter is Freakazoid.
You're Dexter Douglas? Dexter Creepy Douglas is Freakazoid?
This has been a real ego boost.
Also because they're both blondes. But wait a second, Dexter's hair is brown, but when he turns into Freakazoid, his hair is black. You know what would have been cool? And just go with me on this one here? If Freakazoid was Dexter's mom. No, I'm serious. That would totally blindsided people. And she wouldn't know about it, you know? Like a split personality.
You really have no life, do you?
No, sir!
But besides all that, the series was great. It was clever, endearing, and inventive. I think that's due to the time restraint during the production. It's the closest thing you can have to improv in animation. In fact, most of the dialogue from Dance of Doom was improv by Rugg.
My lady in the dress with the skirt. See, I don't know what the hell that was.
But I can think of a couple things they could have done to make it better. Number one was to find some sort of consensus with Bruce Timm. I like the wacky balls to the wall, anything goes Freakazoid, but I can't help but wonder how things would have turned out if they went in Timm's direction. And that really seems to be a failing on both parties. Bruce Timm is a commercial artist, and Spielberg, who should have been more diplomatic. Born out of the greatest advancement of our time and guided by two creative giants, I feel that Freakazoid could have been the defining superhero of our generation. Instead, we got this. No! Take it away! Take it away! It burns!
Oh, come on, you scream like a girl.
Second, Animaniacs was still running. They could have bought themselves a whole nother year of production by introducing some Freakazoid shorts in that show, and then later releasing it as another spin-off, like they did with Pinky and the Brain. Number 3, don't tease us. If you're gonna have Freakazoid in the show, then put her in. I have heard that there was a 3rd season Freakazoid script on the internet at one point that indeed revealed that Steph was Freakazoid, but I tried looking for it and couldn't find it, so I can neither confirm nor deny its existence.
What, you think I'm fibbing? I'm a fibby boy? I heard it somewhere.
But there's no use going on and on about a person that doesn't exist. Well, more than usual.
She's a super freak, she's super freaking now. Everybody sing, super freak.
You spend far too much time with your computer. It's not healthy.
It's my life.
That's so very, very sad.